Hey guys, tonight we're going way back, like thousands of years back to the banks of the Nile. You know the place. Pyramids, pharaohs, gods with falcon heads and jackal faces. But here's the twist. Behind the gold masks and towering temples, ancient Egypt was brutal. So let's ask a simple question. What if you had to live just one single day in ancient Egypt? Spoiler alert, the sun isn't the only thing that'll roast you alive. Before we dive in, hit that like button if you're into these history deep dives, and subscribe if you want more strange, gritty journeys through time. And hey, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is right now. It's always wild seeing where you guys are tuning in from around the world. Okay, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that background hum. Let's step into the past, into a land of pyramids, gods, and ultraviolet punishment. Welcome to ancient Egypt. Before your eyes even open, you're already sweating. The sun has punched through the slats of your reed hut like it's trying to prove something. No curtains, no blinds, definitely no AC, just relentless desert heat, turning your home into an oven by breakfast time. You're lying on a straw mat, covered by a linen sheet so thin it's more a concept than a blanket. That refreshing Nile breeze the travel shows always talk about. Yeah, that died out somewhere around 800 BC. You shuffle outside, and it's already pushing 90 degrees or 32 degrees, and it's not even mid-morning. The sun doesn't shine here. It attacks. Your linen tunic, about as helpful as a napkin in a sauna. Sunscreen doesn't exist. Forget aloe vera or SPF 50. If you're not rich or working in a temple, you're not getting the good oils either. So what do? Mud. Maybe crocodile dung. Not kidding. That's your protection. Might work. Might just make you smell like a swamp. Either way, the sun keeps burning. By midday, the ground is hot enough to fry lentils. Trees. Rare. Shade. Luxury. You might find relief behind a mud brick wall. But even that's practically sweating. You look like you were slow roasted in a kiln and forgotten. But you better not whine. Ra. The sun god is watching. In Egypt, sun equals divinity. So if you're melting, congrats. That just means Ra's really into you today. So yeah, surviving one morning in ancient Egypt takes hydration, humility, and the ability to feel like a human rotisserie chicken without totally breaking down. And we've only made it to breakfast. Once you're up, or at least rolling off your mat, the Nile's not far. Which sounds like a good thing, right? Wrong, because you can smell it before you even see it. This river, the sacred Nile. The lifeblood of Egypt is also kind of a mess. Think fish market meets compost pile meets is that a frog with teeth. It buzzes with flies, frogs, and things that should not legally have legs. But this is where you bathe. No soap? Not really. Even if it existed, you couldn't afford it. Your skincare routine? Sand. That's right. Just grab some grit and rub yourself down. Exfoliation. Ancient style. Your loofah is basically nature's sandpaper. Washing clothes. Also in the Nile. And by washing, we mean smashing your garments against rocks, while praying a crocodile doesn't think your laundry is lunch. Oh, and upstream, there's runoff from people, animals, funerals. Because everyone shares this river, royal barges, livestock, grieving families, and somehow this is considered clean. So you scrub, rinse, maybe remove a leech or two, and walk out feeling slightly less sticky and only a little worried about infection. If you're living in a city like Memphis or Thebes, you might get access to a public basin, but for everyone else, it's Nile or bust, and privacy. Hilarious. This river's a public bathhouse. Neighbors, strangers, animals, sacred birds pecking near your ankles like they own the place. Everyone's here. You fill your water jars, balance them on your head, and start the walk home, dodging more flies than you thought existed on Earth. The clay pots warm up fast. You'd better get them back before they're literally boiling. It's spiritual, it's necessary, and yeah, it's a little traumatic. So yes, the Nile is sacred. It feeds you, cleans you, and keeps you hydrated. But let's not pretend it's a postcard. It's a miracle wrapped in a biohazard, and it's all you've got. Now you've bathed in crocodile-infested waters and sandblasted yourself cleanish. What's next? Breakfast, or something that calls itself breakfast. No omelets. No avocado toast, definitely no iced coffee. Breakfast in ancient Egypt is more like refueling a machine than enjoying a meal. You squat in a corner or If you're fancy, sit on a low stool, the star of the meal. Bread, and lots of it. Dense, gritty, often as chewy as a broken sandal. Made from emmer wheat or barley and baked in clay ovens, which may or may not be shared with the local rodent population. Don't be surprised if your bread has sand in it. Not on purpose, just a side effect of using stone tools to grind grain. Consider it added minerals. Next up, beer. But don't get excited. This isn't your crisp craft lager. This is warm, thick, chunky, and sour. More porridge than pint. Imagine cereal milk that's gone off, with a hint of something that once was bread. Even the kids drink it, not because it's cool, but because it's safer than Nile water. If the gods smile on you today, you might get an onion, maybe a date or two. Protein, only if someone caught a fish and didn't eat it before you woke up. You swat flies with one hand and grip your cup with the other, trying not to think about the fact that this is probably the best thing you'll eat all day. Because in ancient Egypt, breakfast doesn't delight, it just keeps you alive. So, you've eaten your sand bread and beer porridge. You're marginally hydrated. Time to get to work. And trust me, if you think your job is exhausting now, ancient Egypt will break you by lunch. Unless you're a priest, a scribe, or someone born with an obscene amount of luck, you're not getting an easy gig in ancient Egypt. Your job, it's going to be physical, relentless, the kind of labor that makes modern burnout look like a day at the spa. If you're a farmer, you're in the fields by sunrise, knee-deep in Nile mud, yanking weeds or planting barley while being screamed at by an overseer who clearly skipped his morning beer. You've got basic tools, wooden plows, handheld sickles, maybe an ox if your village is lucky, but mostly it's your back doing the work. And if it hurts, great, that means you're doing it right. If you're a laborer, things somehow get worse. Think hauling multi-ton blocks for some temple or royal tomb project, barefoot, on gravel ramps that double as death traps. No harness, no brakes, no complaints. If you trip, that's a broken bone and maybe a polite shrug from your supervisor if he notices at all. Working on tombs, whole different kind of pressure. You're chiseling burial chambers for pharaohs who will be resting peacefully for eternity, while your own back gives out before sundown. Mess up one royal mural or carve the wrong spell into a sarcophagus, and you don't just lose your job, you might become part of the wall, as in, sealed inside it. And if you're a woman, no escape. You grind grain, haul water, weave linen, cook for the family, watch the kids, manage the household, and then still help out in the fields. Your only break is when the baby naps for a few minutes, while you're still cooking dinner. There's no weekend. There's no day off. You eat standing up. You keep moving, because if you fall behind, someone else gets your grain ration and you get the blame. There's no clocking out in ancient Egypt. The sun is your boss. It rises, you work. It sets, you collapse. That's the cycle. And if after all that you dare to grumble, even just a little don't, because in ancient Egypt, complaining about your job isn't just frowned upon. It's borderline heresy. Why? Because your boss, the pharaoh, isn't just a king. He's a literal god. The living embodiment of Horus, son of Ra, the divine force that keeps the universe running. He's not a ruler, he's sacred. And if the Nile floods well this year, it's thanks to his blessings. If it doesn't, guess you didn't praise him hard enough. Speaking badly about the pharaoh, that's not just rude, it's dangerous. You could end up whipped, imprisoned, or worse, sacrificed and buried somewhere with zero afterlife perks. You won't even get the basic burial charms. His face is everywhere, en coin, on temple walls, on jars, on bread molds. You chant his name in ceremonies. You paint him larger than everyone else in every mural. Not just for drama, because it's literally the law. And no, you'll probably never see him in person. Maybe once, during a religious festival, if you catch a glimpse of his golden boat floating by on the Nile. Blink, and he's gone again off to his palace, guarded and untouchable. But if you ever get chosen to work on something for him like a tomb, or a temple you serve with divine joy, that's what they call it. You say it. 2. Even if you're chiseling sandstone in 110-degree heat with blisters on your blisters, it's safer that way. And don't even whisper the word rebellion. Villages that try to resist pharaohs tend to vanish from the map. Taxes unpaid, temple defaced, whole communities wiped out. No trial, just fire, sand, and silence. So yeah, The pharaoh is divine, and you're just lucky to sweat in his honor. But even if the gods love you and your boss doesn't kill you, there's one thing you'll never outrun in Egypt: sand. Sand is your coworker, your seasoning, your skincare routine, and your worst enemy. It's in everything: your bed, your food, your clothes, your lungs. It's basically a family member at this point. Your linen tunic, sure, it's breathable, but it keeps sand out, about as well as a fishing net keeps out fog. It slides right through, gets trapped in every crease, and turns into an exfoliant that nobody asked for. Eating. Every bite of bread is half grain, half gravel. Why? Because grinding wheat on stone slabs means tiny flecks of the grinder end up in the dough. Congratulations, your breakfast is also dental sandpaper. That's why so many ancient Egyptian skeletons have teeth worn down flat by age 25. Think your house is a sand-free zone? Think again. Mud brick walls and open windows mean wind blows in the desert, like it's trying to redecorate your interior. Your cooking pots, full of sand. Your bed, a sandbox. Your floors, crunched underfoot every step, and shoes, optional. Most people walk barefoot, and if you do have sandals, they're flimsy things made from woven reeds. Not great for sharp rocks, not great for anything. Really, then there are the sandstorms. Egypt's version of nature's slap in the face. You'll be walking through the market, chatting with a friend, and suddenly the air turns brown. Visibility drops to zero. Everyone vanishes behind a swirling, suffocating curtain of dust. You cough, you spit, you blink your way home if you can find it. Sand in your eyes, sand in your throat, sand in your soul. You could be praying, working, bathing, or napping, and somehow sand still finds a way to ruin your day. It's not just part of the environment, it's part of you now. And you know what else is part of you? Religion. In ancient Egypt, faith isn't something you practice once a week. It's the operating system for your entire existence. Everything: your job, your meals, your sleep is under divine surveillance. There are gods for everything. Ra controls the sun. Thoth handles writing and wisdom. Sobek Parth Crocodile, part demon nightmare, rules over the Nile. Bastet, the cat goddess, guards the home and probably judges you for not lighting incense often enough. You wake up. You thank Ra. You spill your beer. Apologize to Hathor. You stub your toe. Don't curse. You might attract a spirit with unresolved trauma. Even funerals are a multi-day saga. When you die, your soul gets judged. Your heart is weighed against a feather of truth. If it's too heavy from sin, you don't get a second chance. You get devoured by Amit, part lion, part hippo, part crocodile, all nightmare fuel. But if you live a good life, honest, respectful, hardworking, you might earn eternity in the field of reeds. Basically, heaven. Ancient Egypt style. Crops grow effortlessly. You never get hungry. The Nile always smells nice. You might even have a boat. Just don't forget one bad prayer, one broken ritual, and your chance at paradise, gone. Still, for all its fear and complexity, Egyptian religion isn't depressing, it's comforting. It gives order to chaos. If you follow the rules, you get rewarded not just in this life, but the next. And that belief, that's what kept people going. Through heat, through work, through sandstorms and starvation and river leeches. Because in ancient Egypt, survival isn't just physical, it's spiritual. Let's say you've survived the sun, the labor, the leeches, and the sand. Congrats. But now your stomach's turning, or maybe something bit you, or your skin's breaking out in mysterious boils. Time to find a doctor, right? Sort of. In ancient Egypt, medicine is this weird but fascinating mix of real science and absolute magical chaos. The doctors, who were surprisingly advanced for the time, knew quite a bit. They had surgical tools, medical texts, and a decent grasp of anatomy. But they also believed that sickness could be caused by angry spirits, cursed air, or a ghost curled up in your spleen. So, treatment was eclectic. Let's say you've got an infected cut. The healer might smear honey on it, which is actually a great idea. Honey's antibacterial, maybe some moldy bread too, which has penicillin-like properties. But right before that, he's going to chant a spell over it, just in case a demon is involved. Headache. Get ready for a nice scalp massage with the onion paste, and some chanting. Stomach cramps. Try cow dung mixed with dates and hope for the best. Eye infection. Here comes a paste of lizard blood, ochre, beer, and a prayer to Horus. Is it going to work? Maybe. Or maybe your eyes will just start burning for a whole new reason. And surgery. Yeah, it happened. Abscesses were drained. Broken bones set. Wounds stitched with linen thread. But no anesthesia. No antiseptic. Just a sharp blade and a friend to hold you down while you scream into a brick pillow. Oh, and your teeth. Let's not even talk about your teeth. All that sand in your bread has filed them down like river rocks. By your 20s, chewing hurts. If a tooth gets infected, you've got 3 options. Suffer, or have it yanked out with a tool that looks like a pair of pliers built by someone who failed blacksmith school. Now, if you're lucky, your healer is also a priest, which means he'll probably give you an amulet, too. Whether you're sneezing or giving birth or dealing with a mysterious rash, there's a charm for that. Because in Egypt, healing the body also means convincing the gods to stop messing with it. So yeah, ancient medicine had its high points, but most of the time, your best treatment was a mix of hope, your herbs, and not ticking off the wrong deity. And now we get to one of the biggest surprises in ancient Egypt. Women had rights, like actual legal rights, property ownership, divorce, going to court, the whole deal. Before you pack your bags for the world's first feminist vacation, though, let's add some context. Sure, Egyptian women could do things most women in ancient civilizations couldn't, but their day-to-day lives, still incredibly hard. You're up before the sun, grinding grain by hand using giant stone slabs that destroy your spine. Then it's hauling water, cooking, childcare, feeding animals, managing the house, weaving linen, and sometimes helping out in the fields. You're a one-woman labor force in a linen dress. No breaks, no spa days. And childbirth? Pure pain. No medicine, no clean sheets. Just incense, chanting, and prayers. You don't bleed out. And don't even get me started on clothing. You're wearing a sleeveless linen dress, no underwear, no shoes. The sun roasts your skin. Sand scrapes every inch of you. Insects treat your body like an open buffet. Cosmetics, yes, they wore them. But the eyeliner is made of lead and applied with sharp sticks. So your ancient beauty routine comes with a side of poisoning. If you're rich, things are better. You might manage an estate, learn to read and write, or even become a priestess. If you're royal, you could become pharaoh like Hatshepsut or Cleopatra, both legendary rulers with eyeliner that probably intimidated half the known world. But if you're poor, you work, you sweat, you carry babies on your back while shaping dough with one hand, and swatting flies with the other. Still, Egyptian women had agency. They could stand in court, keep their inheritance, and didn't automatically become property when they married. Compared to ancient Greece or Rome, that's impressive. Comfort, not so much. But dignity, that they had. Let's say you've made it through the whole day. You survived the heat, dodged divine punishment, swatted away half the insect kingdom, and ate your daily share of sand bread. Time to relax. Right. Wrong. Because in Egypt, the real test begins after you die. Death isn't the end. It's the start of a cosmic paperwork nightmare. First, you travel to the Hall of Ma'at. There, in front of 42 deities, yes, 42, you have to declare your innocence, basically the oldest legal deposition in history. I didn't steal, I didn't lie, I didn't kill, I didn't covet my neighbor's donkey. And you'd better remember the script. One wrong phrase and it's game over. Next, your heart is placed on a scale, weighed against the feather of truth. If it's heavier because you were greedy or cruel, say hello to Amit. She's part lion, part hippo, part crocodile, an all soul-devouring monster. She doesn't imprison you. She doesn't punish you. She eats your soul. You're erased. No afterlife, no reincarnation, just spiritual deletion, the ultimate Egyptian horror story. But if your heart is light, welcome to the field of reeds, a perfect version of Egypt where there's no hunger, no heat stroke, and probably fewer bugs. You'll have family, food, boats, maybe even a pet cat or two. Eternity, but with better weather. That's why ancient Egyptians took tomb preparation so seriously. The afterlife was high stakes. They buried the dead with food, charms, scrolls of the Book of the Dead, and little servant dolls called shabtis to do your chores in the next life. Rich or poor, everyone hoped to pass the test and sail into eternity. But here's the brutal truth. Most people didn't live long enough to worry too much about it. If you made it past childhood, which was rare, you were considered an adult by 13. Marriage, labor, and parenting happened fast because most people died by 35. Disease, dehydration, childbirth, injuries, snake bites, pick your poison. If you got sick, there were no antibiotics, just honey, herbs, and whatever amulet you could afford. And maybe a prayer that the crocodile god wasn't in a bad mood that day. Still, Egyptians weren't afraid of death. They planned for it. They understood that life was short, but eternity was long, and they built their entire world, literally and spiritually, around that idea. So would you survive one day in ancient Egypt? Let's be honest, probably not. Modern life has spoiled us. We've got clean water, sunscreen, medicine, dental care, shoes, and jobs that don't involve hauling stones for a sun god. We complain when the Wi-Fi lags. Ancient Egyptians complained when they didn't get enough barley to survive winter. But here's the thing, they made it work. They found beauty in ritual, pride in their labor, and comfort in their belief that life was just the beginning. They built monuments that still stand, cultures that still fascinate, myths that still haunt our dreams. So no, you wouldn't last a day, but they lasted thousands of years, and maybe that's why we still talk about them. Thanks for watching. Guys, if you made it this far, drop a RA is hot in the comments so I know you're one of the real ones. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me what time you're watching and from where. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, may your sandals be sturdy and your bread sand free.